How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to Business Guide. Recessions aren't really seen as a good thing in most people's eyes. The fall of an economy can lead to high unemployment and many struggles. While this is a low point for many working people or even the government, it can actually be a high point for the rich. Rich people like to figure out newer and smarter ways to continue earning even though the government is falling apart. This pandemic has led to a new recession, huge unemployment, and a big scare for many people on how they'll be able to make money to pay their bills. Wealthy people, on the other hand, with their advisors, often know the tips and tricks to make money off of the disadvantage of others. The tips that we'll be discussing can help others to know how to prepare for the future and to make sure their money is secured. Today, we're going to be talking about how the rich get richer in a recession. Make sure you stay until number 1, as you don't want to miss an interesting way recessions can help you get rich. Number 10, buying real estate. Real estate is going through the same issues as the big companies are right now. During this pandemic, nobody is buying real estate. Everyone is at home, and many people can no longer afford to buy anything that isn't absolutely necessary. There's also mass panic about when people can return to work. Many are scared that they can't splurge like they used to, so they hold back on their spending. This is where rich people step in and take advantage of the situation. Real estate markets often tank during a time like this when a recession is in full swing. When the economy fails, people become scared as some lose their jobs. This struggle means that nobody is splurging on anything. The economy declines further because of this, and now there's little demand for real estate. And as such, the prices often drop dramatically. This is where wealthy individuals step in and buy up properties at a fraction of their original price. Commercial real estate is currently suffering the most, while the next 18 months will see a huge drop in newly developed residential properties. These developments assume that once this pandemic cools down, people will be buying more real estate, so they build a ton of residential properties on credit. If their plan doesn't work, then the banks will come by and ask for all of that money loaned out. Number 9, purchasing bankrupt companies. Some companies are able to buy thousands of companies with skilled employees, intellectual property, and even infrastructure for a fraction of their normal cost. But how can this be? By buying bankrupt companies. Big-name companies keep an eye out for their competition to collapse, so they can soak them up and make more money. By doing this, they can expand their own business and add on to their earnings. In a way, they're buying scraps of bankrupt companies and putting together a bigger money maker. Right now, travel companies such as airlines and cruises are losing months, if not years, worth of their earnings. These companies are all facing imminent bankruptcies. Bigger companies may be looking to buy these assets, such as cruise ships and airlines, if these companies can't survive until the end of the outbreak. But even then, people are still going to be cautious when it comes to travel and vacation. So will these companies survive, or will they be sold for scrap? Number 8, leveraging equity. During a recession, it may seem obvious that people don't want to splurge. But some wealthier people may feel the need to do so since many price drops are occurring all around. This is seen in the purchasing of tons of stock and real estate. It's also seen in big companies that purchase other companies that have now gone bankrupt. The smart individuals will know, however, that they should sit on their equity as opposed to splurging. Doing this allows people to take out home equity loans in order to deploy another investment. This means that buying properties becomes a numbers game and requires smart decisions. But when done correctly, the outcomes can be highly beneficial. Number 7, selling stock before it hits. Rich people love the stock market. They study its patterns and watch for the rise and fall of prices. They love to think and plan ahead in the market. Since the start of the outbreak in China, wealthy individuals took to the stock market and tried to make their profits. They instantly started selling stocks that they knew would be affected by the virus. They shorted the market, and these short sellers made over $50 billion during the outbreak. Now we have two stories on how rich people have taken advantage of the stock market and their knowledge on price drops to earn huge amounts of money. First is the story of a billionaire named Bill Ackman. He turned $27 million to $2.6 billion because he expected the virus outbreak would tank the markets. Another example of dumping these stocks come from the U.S. Republican Senators Richard Burr, Kelly Loeffler, James Inhofe, along with Democrat Dianne Feinstein. Collectively, this group of four dumped around $11 million of stock right before the market started crashing. They were able to do this before the public was given access to the news surrounding the coronavirus outbreak. A bit shady, wouldn't you think? Number 6. Contracts with the government. To help the economy recover, governments need people to work. Unemployment can be detrimental to an economy and, in turn, a government. To fix this issue, governments start infrastructure projects and grant contracts for these projects to businesses. These businesses are owned by wealthy individuals to help them earn even more money. And with this, these wealthy businesses and owners who employ others are also helping working individuals as well as their country's economy. This isn't beneficial to the rich though. The more employees that get hired, a huge chunk of government money trickles down. This is actually a sound way to help entire economies because businesses are kept running while unemployment rates drop. Both the wealthy and the working class folks can benefit from this. And this is how the economy and the government can work together to prevent further collapses. Number 5. Low interest rates. This new economic recession means that not only are companies and businesses failing, but banks are also losing money. Banks are now trying their best to pick up new businesses. But how are they going to do this? By lowering their interest rates. And doing so will encourage more people to take out loans, which means the banks can earn more income. Recessions will require people to take out loans since money may be hard to come by. And lowering interest rates can be a good deal for individuals with a good credit score. Having a great credit score can also be important in cases like this. Rich people with a great history of borrowing money from banks can reap the rewards of this recession. Loans will now cost them very little to no interest at all. These individuals can now refinance everything without worrying. This is why preparing before an economic recession by watching the interest rates can pay off for the rich. Number 4. Own, not rent. Mentioned earlier was the fact that a recession is a wonderful time for wealthier individuals to buy real estate. This is due to the lowered cost and demand of properties. This also offers them another way to take advantage of the market, buying a property that you're renting. Most people rent because it's non-committal and may seem cheaper, but in the long run, buying your property may save you a lot more and allow you to rent out and earn income from it. Now that commercial and residential properties are at a low point, you may want to consider buying the studio apartment you're living in or the office space you're renting out. It's worth checking out. Number 3. Buying discounted stocks. During the mass panic that a global pandemic causes, the rich try and find ways to become even richer by taking action during the worldwide crisis. Similar to how an average citizen would panic buy groceries and household goods, rich individuals buy lots and lots of discounted stocks. A recession leads to a sort of sale for wealthy people. They see that the stock market is crashing, so they can buy tons of shares at incredibly low prices. Some have called this the Black Friday for rich people. Again, they know how to take advantage of a scary situation and exploit the failures of certain businesses for their own profit. When the stocks reach low prices, people tend to buy more of them. And when these companies get back on their feet, the stocks rise dramatically in price. This allows for insane profits for those who planned ahead and followed the stock market's patterns. Number 2, government bonds. Companies and businesses that aren't struggling have been taking advantage of government bonds. Government bonds are a way for governments to borrow money from businesses and individuals. The return on investment is something that is sought after, and these bonds hold little to no risk at all. These benefits make these government bonds a great thing for the rich to take on, and during recessions, they seem to be going after these bonds left and right. Rich people can afford to loan out money via bonds and get paid a nice interest rate. They're also attracted to these bonds because it's seen as a very safe investment. Unless the government completely collapses, these investors can be rest assured that they'll get their money plus the interest paid back to them. These bonds are also a way for the governments to circulate money and keep the economic cycle running smoothly without having to devalue their currency. It's also a way for developed countries to slow down on printing money. Number 1, government bailouts. Government bailouts are exactly what they sound like. When a business fails, the government will step in and bail them out. This is something that some businesses will take advantage of, especially during a recession. Some people see this as unfair because they don't get this kind of help, but it's actually important for the economy to keep these businesses running. And with that, individuals are getting helped out since they can continue to keep their jobs and get paid. Businesses that get bailed out employ thousands of people to work for them. That means that they can provide many people with jobs even during a recession. If all these employees were to lose their jobs due to businesses failing, the government will encounter more problems along the way. These bailouts are most likely going to be happening for airlines this year due to the current pandemic and economic crash. Hopefully, it will help these businesses enough to keep employees of the travel industry employed. Finally, click one of these videos on your screen right now. See you there!